got it. Let's go. It's already started. Woo! Let's go.
Yeah.
What's up? Got my nostrils there. Alright, here we go.
Kristen's not even looking at what he's
Now,
let's go.
when we have these,
oh, can I guess that?
yeah,
It's the square root of 10 5.
That was a good one.
it was square root of, what'd you say? 60. Yeah. So it's the same as saying it's the square root of 10 times 6. Okay? So with that, I can say that this is square root of 60, right? And so I have the given, right? And then I use the radical rules, right? My radical simplification.
Wait, what's the thing, that little dot, wasn't you supposed
Wait,
to
it's 6. Can
Times.
you change the color?
Right?
So I can...
No.
And then,
It starts with the,
but here's the thing, I need to
Starts with
break
a T,
down
no?
60. So how am I going to break down 60?
divided by 3.
By the smallest number first.
6.
Ooh, we should.
Two.
Who's the youngest?
Why two?
2. Because 2 is smaller than 3.
Not
Who's the
even.
youngest?
A little bit.
You're
Why
lying.
two?
First and
14.
Huh?
Why two?
Because we want to start with the smallest prime factor first.
30.
Let's go.
We want to use it as much as we can.
Oh, divided by
So
1.
2 is your smallest prime, right?
Yeah.
And so how many times, and it's an even number, so I know that 2 goes into it, and like you said, 3 goes into it because 6 plus 0 is 6, and 3 goes into 6, right?
Yep.
So I know 3 goes into it. I know 5 goes into it because it ends in a 0, right? So I know that 2, 3, and 5 all go into it. So any of those numbers, or if you're using your high brain, you would say all of those numbers go into it at one time. But when you're prime factorizing, you're trying to use as many primes as you can, okay? So that's the key. So that's why we want to use the smallest prime first. So 2 goes into 60 30 times. 2 goes into 30
15 times.
15 times. 2 goes into 15 no.
3 times.
3 goes into 15. How much?
3 times.
5 times.
Come on, paper.
Right? And 5 goes into 5
5 times.
1 time.
5 times.
Right? And so when you get to 1, you're done.
That's what she said.
Okay? Now, how many pairs do you have?
2.
Okay? Now you have 1 pair of 2s. Right? 1 pair. So that 2 is coming out.
Let's go.
Okay? Now whatever isn't in the circle, anything you haven't circled. So if you circled a bunch of different pairs, those are all multiplying against each other, okay?
Oh,
But whatever isn't circled is still multiplying against each other, but inside the box, inside the radical. So what you end up with here is 2 square roots of 15. And that's it. And that's simplification of a radical.
We're done. How did that go? How did that work?
Your brain's too big. I don't get it.
He's going too fast.
Now think, what is 2 times 2?
4.
4. Right? What is the square root of 4?
2.
2. And why? Because 2 goes into 4 twice. 2 goes into 2 once. There's a pair. Boom. There it is. Boom. Done.
Why are you doing work that I don't even...
What do you mean you don't know?
I quit.
Is that good?
Oh,
That is good. What's your name?
I forgot.
What's your name?
Oh, that's my son.
Huh?
That's my son.
That's your son?
Yeah, he had a thing with mine today.
Is it Anthony?
No, he's little one today. He had a thing with mine today.
Anyways, help me out with this one. Now, this is on the inside, right? Right? So, great. This is on the inside, right? And this is on the inside, right? Okay, so this can only multiply with what's on the inside. Okay? So, the stuff inside a radical, you only multiply against something that else is inside the radical. Or divide.
Oh, so like the right side?
Yeah, so it's kind of like an x. The x's multiply the x's,
Yeah.
right? So,
So it's kind of like distributive property?
this is a distributive property. Very good. Okay?
Alright.
And so we are going to multiply that through. And so what's 3 times 3?
23.
Wait, what?
9.
Thank you.
Oh my
So it's 5 square roots of 9 minus 4 square roots of 3 times 10.
40. No, 30.
30, right? Okay, now what is the square root of 9?
3.
3, right? So we already know that, so we can just call that 5 times 3, right? Minus, now we have to have 4 times something, right? What is the 30? So we need to break the 30 down. So what number do we start with?
5.
No.
2.
2. Always start with 2 if you can, right? It's the smallest number,
No, 1.
right? Okay. All right, but 1 you'll just be there all day. Spinning your tires, the sand ditch, right? All right, so 2 goes into 30 how many times?
2. 15. 4.
Okay. Does 2 go into 15?
Yeah.
Does 3?
Yes.
How many times?
5.
Okay. Does 5 go into 5?
1.
Were there any pairs?
No.
No. So if there's no pairs, I cannot break down that square root of 30.
2 times 5.
Okay? So that's still the square root of 30. Okay? Now, what is 15 times 3? Huh? Oh, sorry, what's 5 times 3?
15. 15
bad.
minus, okay.
I was doing the math in my head. So it's 15 minus 4 square root 30. And that's it. That's your answer. So we distributed. And then we simplified radically, right? So we radically simplified the square root of 9. Okay? And then we multiplied, right? We basic simplification. Okay? That's it.
Well, wouldn't it be 11:30? That's
I'm
15
still
minus
away
4.
from the both equations.
Wow.
15 what?
15 minus 4.
No.
No, you can't minus these. That's like saying 15 minus 4x. And I wouldn't say that that would be 11x, right? Same thing. So good question. I like that. Good question. I cannot subtract these, so I cannot subtract these. Okay? Good question. All right, the next one. Let's do this guy.
Is it 5?
Right? What's 10 times 5?
50.
50. Okay? And then there isn't one there, right? So that's just 5 square roots of 10. Okay, so we distributed,
Yeah,
right?
move.
And this is given. Sorry, I'm moving. Okay? So then what?
Huh?
Can we break down the 10? Can you already see in your head that the 10 is not going to break down?
Yeah, because it can go 2, 3, or 1.
Because it's a 2 and a 5, right? There's no pairs, right? Okay? And then, so what about the 50? Can the 50 be broken down?
Yes.
Yeah, it does. In fact, if we take 50, right, and break it down, 2 goes into there 25 times. 5 goes in there 5 times, 5 goes in there 1 time. Where's our pair?
Huh? It's
The
the
5.
The 5s. So we got 1 5, right? And what stays in the box?
2.
The 2. So 5 square roots of 2 plus 5 square roots of 10. And you're done. You can't add them because the 5s are the same. These square roots have to be the same. Then you could add them. Does that make sense? Now you want to see something really cool?
No.
Just to give you an example. Like kids say, well, you know, how do you do that? And can you do that in your head? And can you get the approximate answer? And yeah, you can just plug this in the calculator and get the approximate answer, right? And we were doing one earlier today, and it's pretty easy. When I think of 30, right? I think of 2 numbers that multiply to be 30. And I know 5 times 5 is 25, right?
Yeah.
And I know that, 25. And then I know that 6 times 6 is 36, right? And the number we're looking at is 30. So how far away is 25 to 30?
5.
5? So we're talking about 5 steps. And then how far away is 25 to 36?
11.
11. So we're talking about 5 11ths. So we're really talking about 5 and 5 11ths. So when we take 15 minus 5 and 5 11ths, what number do we get? Okay? And so I get 5 from 15 leaves me 10, right? And then if I take 5 11ths, would that be like 6 11ths left, right? So like 9 and 6 11ths. Well, is that really close to 6 tenths? Like 6 11ths, 6 tenths, right? So that's really close to 6 tenths. So 9 and 6 tenths, which could be written as 9.6. So I'm saying that if I mean, I did this all in my head. Now this process I created myself. And you don't learn it in any book. I created the process because it was just something that I seen a pattern evolving, right? But when I do it, I come really, really close to the actual answer. So let's say we take 15, and not the actual, but the actual approximate answer. So we take 15 minus 4 square roots of 30, right? Oops, I wrote the wrong. 15 minus 4 square roots of 30 equals. So I get oh, my bad. What did I do wrong here?
Oh my god, your brain's small.
Because, yeah, right? Because how many of these did I have? I found the square root of 30, but I didn't have 4 of them. Alright? So I've actually multiplied that by 4. Right? So how much do I get? Not that. But what's 4 times 5? Well, actually what I want to do is go 11 times 5, which is 55, plus 5 is 60. Over 11, and then times 4 times 60.
224.
220. How much? 240?
Yeah, 240.
Yeah. Good. No problem. We all make mistakes, right? Okay?
I'm a mistake.
Right?
Yeah.
Why not just be 24?
Wow.
And then, how many times does 11 go into 240? So,
No.
so 11 goes into 240. Well, I know
244, it'd be 23, something like that.
like 231, right? 11 should go into 231 because 2 plus 1 is 3, right? How many times does it go into 231? Great question. Well, 11 goes into 20, that's 2 times with 2 left over. 11 goes into 20 once with how many left over? So that would be 11, that would be 9, so 9 11ths. Alright, so again, this would be really close to 9 tenths, right? So really it's about 21.9, and 15 minus 21.9, right? So what do we get here?
We have 12 more minutes.
What's 15 from 21? Right?
Yeah, it's 21 and point.
Oh, no, it's 11.
So what is 15 from 21?
6.
6, right? So we would get negative 6, right? And then the 0.9, right? So about, that would be about what your answer would be. And when you actually do it, it's
Pretty close.
negative 6.9089023. So when I throw it in my calculator, this is what I get. When I throw it in my brain, big brain, if I do it right, okay, this is what I get. Really
So it's
close.
just like a simplified answer.
Yes. This is where we say it's an approximate, right?
Yeah.
And can you do it without a calculator? Yeah. It's really easy if you use this mentality. But to do that, you have to think outside the box. You have to think, what is a square root? Right?
Wait,
This-
was I supposed to write that down?
No. This is outside of our...
Oh, so the
I'm
answer
just
is
planting a
12.
seed.
But it's
So
still
13
4
then?
square roots of 30.
Huh?
So I could still keep it as 4 square roots
Yes.
of 30.
And you can throw it in the calculator and solve it for this also.
Yeah.
You can do both. You can get used to doing that.
Then third.
But our practice right now is all about this.
Alright.
Okay? We don't want to use those calculators.
Come on.
Because, like I said, the ACT, the SAT, the college exams, right? All of those are going to make you do this without a calculator.
It's rigged.
When we get to unit circles, you are going to understand it because of this 30, 60, 90. If you get 30, 60, 90 down,
What if I don't?
you will not understand it and you will fail.
Let's go.
Let's go!
Guess what my IQ is?
My IQ?
It's not my IQ.